You've seen it, right? Those high-stakes poker finals on TV. The tension is just electric. You see the million-dollar pots, the insane bluffs, the stone-cold faces. It all just screams glamour and skill. But what happens when the cameras shut off? What happens when the players go home? That's what we're digging into today, the side of poker you almost never get to see. And hey, let's be real, the appeal is massive. It's a game of pure wits, guts, and a huge adrenaline kick. It's the ultimate mental showdown. That's the dream, isn't it? To live a life that is anything but ordinary. But is that really the whole picture? Because here's the thing. For every incredible win you see, there's a story of a soul-crushing loss. For every single moment of glory, there's a quiet, private struggle going on behind the scenes. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. The hidden costs of a life completely devoted to poker. So, how in the world do you balance the absolute thrill of the game with the real-world demands of a healthy life? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because as we're about to see, being a successful poker player is about so much more than just playing your cards right.
And that right there is the key. For anyone who takes this seriously, poker stops being just a game. It becomes a lifestyle that dictates everything. It controls your schedule, your health, your relationships. It's a total high-wire act, and if you're not paying attention, it is a long way down. All right, so what are these hidden costs of a life spent at the poker table? Let's take a closer look at the physical and mental toll that this game can take, often when you least expect it. These are the four big ones, the silent assassins of a poker player's well-being. Now, on their own, any one of these is tough to deal with, but when you put them all together, they create this perfect storm that can just slowly but surely chip away at your health and your happiness, both on and off the felt. First up, sleep, or, the total lack of it. Poker is a nocturnal beast. The best games, the biggest action, it all gets going when the rest of the world is winding down for bed. And what that means is your body's natural rhythm gets thrown into a blender. You end up constantly fighting fatigue, which, let me tell you, is a recipe for disaster when every single decision counts. And let's talk about the physical grind. Just imagine sitting in the exact same chair, in the exact same position, for 10, 12, maybe even 14 hours a day. Your back is screaming, your neck is stiff, your whole body is just slowly but surely paying the price. That is the daily reality for a lot of dedicated poker players. And then you've got the mental game. Poker is just a wild roller coaster of emotions. I mean, one minute you're on top of the world after a huge win, and the very next you're at rock bottom after a brutal bad beat. Living with that constant emotional whiplash can take a serious toll on your mental health, leading to things like chronic stress and anxiety. And finally, there's the cost that's maybe the hardest to put a number on. The toll it takes on your relationships. When you're spending all your time and all your mental energy on poker, there's just not much left over for the people who matter most. And that can be a very lonely road to walk. See, when you're feeling isolated, it's so easy to just turn back to the game for comfort. But that is a really dangerous path. Because there is a razor-thin line between a passion and an obsession. And once you cross that line, it can be incredibly hard to find your way back. So, how do you know if you're in trouble? Well, it starts with the little things. You're constantly thinking about hands even when you're not at the table. You get antsy or irritable if you can't get a game in. But here's the biggest red flag of all. When your entire self-worth is tied to your results at the table. That's when you know the game has way more control over you than you have over it. And hey, if you think live poker is tough, the online world is a whole different kind of beast. It comes with its own unique set of challenges that can push even the most seasoned players to their absolute limits, way faster and more intensely than ever before. Just imagine trying to solve a dozen complex puzzles all at the same time, with a clock ticking down and thousands of dollars on the line. That's what it can feel like playing multiple tables online. It is a mental marathon, and if you're not prepared for that intensity, you are absolutely going to hit a wall. So, how do these two worlds really stack up? Well, online poker can be a really lonely game. You're just staring at a screen for hours on end, making hundreds of decisions every minute. But the biggest danger? It is always there. That 24/7 accessibility is like having a casino in your pocket, making it incredibly difficult to ever truly switch off. So, how do you navigate this minefield? How do you enjoy the game you love without letting it completely consume you? Well, the good news is you're not helpless here. There are clear, proactive steps you can take to protect yourself and build a sustainable, healthy relationship with the game. At the end of the day,
The toughest opponent you will ever face is the one staring back at you in the mirror. So how do you win that battle? How do you make sure that poker stays a source of joy and passion in your life, not a source of pain?
Here are 5 simple rules to live by. Rule number 1, set a timer and actually stick to it. Decide your start and stop times before you even sit down and treat them as totally non-negotiable. Rule 2, get up and walk away from the table, at least once an hour. Rule 3, move your body every single day. No excuses. It's the ultimate antidote to all those long hours of sitting. Rule 4, make time for the people who matter most. Schedule that dinner, make that call. And Rule 5, quiet your mind. Seriously, just a few minutes of meditation or deep breathing can make a world of difference for your focus and your stress levels.
Now, following these rules takes discipline, which brings us to the biggest myth in all of poker, the one that really fuels so many of these problems, the idea that it's easy money. Because let's be real, if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. The truth is, poker is a brutal, unforgiving game. This isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. It's not about getting lucky, it's about outworking, outthinking, and outlasting your opponents. It is a war of attrition, and only the mentally and physically strong survive in the long run. So here's the bottom line. Poker can be a beautiful game. It can be a source of passion, excitement, and incredible intellectual challenge. But it can also be a dangerous game. It can be a source of pain, regret, and addiction. The choice is yours. Will you let the game control you, or will you control the game?
Start a live chat now to join one of our clubs or ask us any questions. Message at BluffingMonkeys24_7 on Telegram or visit bluffingmonkeys.com and start a live chat.